Today, I am live with Nicole Zappoli, and I'm very excited to be talking with her because for many of you listening, you are health and wellness professionals, and she's been in the field for 30 years, so she knows what she's doing, and she's had quite the journey. And I'm sure she's seen a lot of growth as an entrepreneur and all the ups and downs of that. So, today on the Health Coach Nation podcast, we're going to be digging into her journey. But before we do that, I'm going to share her bio. So, Nicole is a highly accomplished fitness professional with over 30 years in training, coaching, and competitive athletics. She's a NASM certified personal trainer. Me too. Love that. She's a Cooper Institute physical fitness specialist. And she has many, many other credentials we will put in the show notes, including CrossFit and body weight movement specialists, etc. Now, her top priority is safety and longevity through intelligent, personalized programming. She emphasizes proper body mechanics, technical precision, and a strong movement foundation. So, with her journey, she has a book as well, and it is in. Can you tell me about the book, Nicole?
Sure. Yes, it's called Live Fit from the Inside Out.
Ooh, yay! Love
Yeah,
that. Congratulations. Very
thank
cool.
you.
And oh,
Go,
go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
Okay.
So,
I'm just going to wrap up your bio. So she's in her third season of competing professionally in natural bodybuilding, most recently winning the Mr. and Mrs. USA Championships this summer in figure, as well as placing first overall. And she is gearing up for her third Natural Olympia this November. So, as a best-selling author, she just released her new book, Live Fit, which she just showed us, Live Fit from the Inside Out. And she uses a framework called the 6 Shifts Framework. From the age of 8, Nicole has dreamed of coaching, owning her own gym, and helping others transform lives. Today, she continues to live that dream while balancing her role as a passionate fitness coach, professional athlete, author, and proud mom. Outside the gym, she enjoys adventuring, painting, dancing, yoga, etc., etc. So, this is amazing. I'm happy to have you here because you are someone who's juggling it all and you did build a business from scratch on your own. So tell me a little bit about what made you want to build your own wellness brand business.
oh man. Well, it does go back to when I was 8 years old. I showed up to career day dressed as what I thought coaches dressed as in my gymnastics leotard and warm-up suit, and told my class that I was going to be a coach and own my own gym when I grew up. And then fast forward, I competed in gymnastics while I was growing up. I had the opportunity to train at the Olympic Training Center when I was 14 years old, and the the training center had us all go to nutrition classes while we were there. That was really the moment that I knew I would be doing that for the rest of my life. Just making the connection between nutrition and fitness, and how even athletes can struggle with stuff like eating disorders and different things like that. And then how much, when we do fuel properly, how much that can contribute to just our overall recovery, our performance in the gym, and longevity, and living our highest quality of life. So it was that moment, moving forward, had my eyesight on nutrition and fitness. I knew that was the path that I was going, and just kind of decided to dive into as many different courses and classes and education as I could along the way. And then when I was 19, opened my first mobile and remote gym business. So I was doing in-home private coaching, and then I was also teaching cheerleading, dance, gymnastics in private schools, daycares, and so adding value to their overall program. And I would take the equipment to them. This actually dates back to when I was 4 years old, and that was my first exposure to gymnastics, was having a mobile gym just like that came into the private school that I was at, and the preschool, and I got to try gymnastics out and instantly knew I wanted to do flips all over the house and all sorts of things, which led to my parents putting me in gymnastics. So, which then, of course, led me to start dreaming big dreams of owning my own gym, and then eventually, you know, niching that down a little bit more and more. And as I've continued to grow up across the course of my life, being introduced to different styles of training, I was, mostly doing traditional forms of strength training, strength and conditioning. And I eventually learned about CrossFit in 2008, 2009. I tried out my very first class and instantly was, hooked and decided to, it pretty much brought everything that I absolutely love together. So the entire gymnastics piece and that whole foundation of gymnastics, body weight movement, and the amount of focus that they put on that as the foundation of strength training, and so that was really cool, really exciting, and I got to do gymnastics again. Wow. And stay fit and get strong, and so I'm still doing CrossFit. That was about 17 years ago, and but how I implement it, and as far as I've opened my own affiliate, I have been brought on as a co-owner of another. I decided to open a mobile and remote gym business, so structured very similar to the very first business that I started when I was right around 30-ish. How old am I? In my early 30s. And with the idea that would, with the goal and the kind of the idea that I'm bringing strength training to each person individually, but to their home or to their gym of choice, and going at their pace and really breaking down the movement and really going through the progressions and all of that based on where they're at. That was my in-person. And then I also do remote coaching. And so working with athletes or individuals that are gym goers, fitness enthusiasts that have a background training, for the most part, they're training on their own. I individually design their programs for them and then coach them, through a platform called True Coach. And so they're uploading video of their lifts, their movement progressions, their form, their technique, and I'm giving them feedback and coaching through that realm as well.
Wow,
and
awesome.
Yeah.
What a journey. Lot of good stuff. So tell me a little bit about, when you first started out as a wellness and fitness professional, what were some of the things you were worried about business-wise that now you look back and are like, oh my gosh, I was overthinking that, or I should have focused elsewhere? What are some of those things?
That's a good question. I guess it depends on what which business? For my first business that I opened, that was really, that was before, the internet existed, and I made a website back then. Um, but there was, you didn't have iPhones. It was not like this. So that was 2002, 2003 at that time. So it was just a completely different time. And so that, I guess, I was going to my clients for the most part. I was going to the schools, opening it up. It was a different approach in that sense, as far as finding clients. And so, even though I had a website, figuring out how to best connect with the community and let them know that I existed, that was probably my bigger challenge as far as just at that time. And then moving forward into when I opened my very first brick and mortar gym, I teamed up with a person that had a very extensive sales and marketing background, digital marketing designer, all the things. And then also someone with an extensive background in just like all the other stuff that all of the other details that I'm not going to get into right now. But as far as like the sales and marketing piece, that was extremely helpful. But he designed the entire website, made sure our SEO was, like we were top on the page every time anybody searched for us. So that was huge because I don't have a background in sales and marketing. And so I learned a lot through that time too, as far as just the different stuff that we were doing in our business to reach people and bring people in. And so same thing, moving into that second location, same thing, we had a team, each person had their own expertise. When I opened my own, I am the sole owner of the mobile gym that I have. That is, taking all of the stuff that I've learned by working with different teams and different coaches and different people with different backgrounds of expertise, and am able to apply that to my newest venture. But yeah, I can't hear you.
I was on mute.
Oh.
So it sounds like you assembled a team, which is really a key lesson here is, when you're missing certain skills, it's not a bad idea to either get yourself support or have team members who can support you or fill in the parts that you're not the best at.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned, or we saw in your bio, how you do these fitness competitions, which I'm sure take a lot of dedication and work, and you're a mom and you have businesses. So tell me a little bit about how do you juggle all of that, and what would you say to people who are saying, like, I have this business, it's so demanding, but I also have kids, and they feel like they can't keep up with all of it and they're overwhelmed?
Yes, that's exactly why I wrote my book. It's Live Fit from the inside out, but the main thing is the 6 shifts to living your strongest, healthiest, happiest life. So I definitely recognize, especially after being in a brick and mortar gym, close-knit community of people, just hearing so much, over years and years of what people's biggest pain points are, is a lot of it is time and trying to figure out when to how to structure their day, how to make sure that they're staying consistent. It is possible. And, you know, we all have a lot going on. Obviously, everybody's at different places in their lives or different phases. But we are all busy, and some are busier than others. But even the busiest people can still find and make time to get their training in. It really is all about priority and the mindset around why we want to get our training session in. What is this going to do for us? And not just for us, but for the people that mean the most to us and our business too. Our like everything that we have going on outside of the gym requires so much of us that when we are able to sit down and structure our week and make sure that we're putting ourselves on the calendar and showing up for ourselves just like we do for everybody else, then just that little amount of time that you're putting in, 30 minutes, 45, maybe a full hour, you know, 3, 4, 5 days a week, whatever you have to be able to, you know, whether that starts off with 2 days a week, whatever you feel like you can do at this moment and keep it as consistent as possible, it's going to make such a huge difference. But it really comes, you know, it comes down to sitting down, taking a look at everything you have going on, looking at your calendar, and finding those blocks of time where you can have at least whatever that time frame in it, and you can get in a very solid, very effective workout in 30 minutes or less. And when you are showing up for that consistently across the board, oh my gosh, that's just going to do so much for your overall health, your overall quality of life, mental clarity, emotional, mental health, your physical strength. I mean, your energy levels throughout the day, your quality of sleep will get better. I mean, there's just so many reasons why we want to definitely make it a priority and how we can't not make that a priority because of how much it benefits not just us, but every other person and thing in our life that we have going on.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things too that I like about your book is you have a 6-shift framework. And one of the things I always help my clients with is coming up with their framework to differentiate themselves and to have something that takes coaching beyond just, oh, I help you get fit or I help you do XYZ, but actually helping someone see how or the transformation or why is coaching tangible and going to get them results. So I'm curious, are there any of your shifts that you want to share on the show today that could maybe apply to business owners who are listening and want to live their best life?
Yes. So the 6 shifts is, I talk about, I share a story in my book about why I named it that. And it goes a little bit deeper into, which I can share if you would like in a little bit, but each letter in the word stands for one of those shifts. And so the first letter, S, is sleep. Then you have H for hydration, and then I is for intake or nutrition, and then F is for fitness, and then we have T for thoughts, which is mindset, and then the last S is sunshine. And so taking those and looking at them, as far as implementing them in a doable way, I typically recommend people starting with 1, maybe 2 new habits to introduce into their life for the first 2 to 3 weeks. And if they're able to maintain that consistently, then we add another. And then we, make sure that that feels manageable and you're able to do those now 3 things consistently across the board, and then we can add and continue to add and build on that. The very first thing that I definitely think is the most important is our mindset. However, how do we grow a more just a stronger, more resilient, healthier mindset overall? And I really do believe that it comes from just doing hard things, which we can use fitness to achieve that and help us grow in that area. There's a lot that goes on in our minds while we are training, especially when we're doing hard workouts or things that are challenging or get us out of our comfort zone. So the more often we can do that and get a really good practice of that going, the more our mindset is going to really shift in a lot of different ways. And you'll get to know yourself in a whole different way too if you are just bringing awareness around the thoughts that are going on in your head during those times. And, reframing how you speak to yourself in those moments, in those challenging times, and seeing, oh man, if I saw my son or daughter going through something that was challenging, would I be speaking to them the way that I'm speaking to myself right now? Or how would I, approach this or that, fill in the blank. The different things like getting into a workout that feels very, very tough in the middle of it, after you've already committed to, doing a certain amount of work, and thinking, you know what, that was totally great, and I am have had sufficient and I think I'm good for today. Instead of stopping or allowing those thoughts to kind of, get in our way, figuring out how to overcome them, use that as opportunities to grow stronger mentally while we are also getting stronger physically. And just the mindset piece and the fitness, I mean, obviously go hand in hand. But that right there, we don't just get physically stronger. Like, yes, we're building strength, growing, lean mass and getting stronger muscles, but we're also strengthening stuff like our immune system, the healthier our mindset and our mental capacity to take on challenging things. That is all, also benefiting everything else that is going on inside of us, including our immune system and all sorts of other stuff. So that is really, I would say, probably the most important thing to focus on in the very beginning, or just start bringing more awareness around. And then stuff to work on, especially with your mindset, being aware but not getting stuck. And so I do share this story of learning to drive a stick shift when I was 16, and I'm getting on the freeway, and it took me forever to get going in first gear, and I'm creeping out into the intersection, turning to get literally onto the freeway, where I was, and I was terrified. I had no intention of shifting to the next gear. I was totally fine staying in first gear the rest of the way, and just having a little bit of just calm support, encouragement from my dad sitting next to me and help me get through actually shifting gears to get to where we were going. I took that, but that's like that experience that I had was slightly traumatic, but it has stuck with me, and it's such I think a very powerful visual of how, I mean, that could be applied to anything in our life, but where we feel stuck and paralyzed by fear or self-doubt, shame or whatever, fill in the blank, that we are totally fine staying safe in that first gear and just hanging out in first gear, even though that was even more dangerous if I had stayed in first gear getting on the freeway. But having, the importance of a coach or a support system alongside you when you're, taking on, a new way of either implementing different lifestyle changes or fitness program, or, making improvements to nutrition, whatever it might be. But that is a huge reason why I did write this book. And that whole word, the shifts, those 6 shifts, those daily habits that help us kind of move through our life. And it's not like we're going to stay in first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. We're going to have to be shifting back and forth, but we want to be able to do that as smoothly and confidently and effortlessly as possible. And so that's kind of what the whole idea behind this, and my approach to coaching and training, and how to actually take action on those things, that does lead to setting yourself up for success, and then being able to maintain that and sustain that for your life. And that applies obviously to, if you're a business owner, different things that you want to improve in your business, or as a business owner, or as a mom, as a, significant other, whatever it is, it can be applied to any of those things.
Yeah, definitely. So what if people want to check out the book? Where can they get it? And also, where can people find you online?
Sure. Yes, my book is on my website, but it is on Amazon. It just launched on Audible as well this past week. So there is an audiobook, there's hardcover, a paperback, and Kindle version, and it's all on Amazon.
Amazing. Awesome. So what are you going to bring with you to your big competition coming up? What mindset mantra or thing is going to be carrying you through the end of the year?
Well, so that was last month. So the grand finale, the Natural Olympia. Yeah, I really just went into, these 6 shifts have taken me through some of the hardest times in my life, and of course, all the way through prep and getting on stage, and just keeping me level-headed, grounded, and confident throughout is the biggest thing. And it's really cool because they're so simple. Like, it's not anything that we don't already know, but it's the power behind how we create consistency within those 6 shifts, and then how we continue to implement them. And so the coolest thing is that it's taken me through so many different points in my life, some of the lowest times, and then also some of the highest points in my life, still keeping me just moving forward, staying focused, staying level-headed, and just also creating a whole lot more awareness around gratitude as well. Gratitude within the journey, and with how far you are when you get to a certain point, looking back like, holy cow. And then being able to take that and look ahead and be able to still set goals and have things that you want to work towards, and taking the lessons that you've learned along the way and then applying those towards the future of where you want to be heading. And so I think that's like kind of a lot of what was where my head was at during that time. Um, and yeah, celebrating the hard work in the gym, you know, just consistency within nutrition, still like maintaining, you know, and a structure within my own business, showing up and, you know, being present for my kids, for my clients, for my overall business, and then also my training life.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that definitely right there, you know, learning along the way to it's a team effort. So um, being okay to ask for help when you need it, or maybe a little bit more support in different areas. And then just the whole, and then knowing when you need maybe a little bit extra rest or quiet time, and understanding the biggest thing too, and then this is a whole chapter in the book, is infectious positive influences. So making sure first too that, and this sometimes takes a little bit longer for some people than others, just based on where we're at in life, and where we have come from and what we're trying to overcome. As far as the people in our life or the our surroundings, and that has a lot to do with our success. And so it's very powerful. It can, you know, either propel us forward that much, you know, with much greater force, or keep us, you know, keep us back, hold us back, even if you're doing all the things. It's pretty powerful for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here today, and I really appreciate it. And for anybody listening, check out Nicole online, check out her book. And if you want the free gift of the day, we do that on the Health Coach Nation podcast. You can get the free content roadmap. It takes you through creating 30 days of compelling content at haleyrowe.com/content-roadmap. And we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much.